Over a month ago, Valve added the Spy Tech and the Arabesque collection to the Armory, and since then, prices have dropped hard. The USB spiral glitch was around €160 in mid-July, but now it is closer to 100, and the Desert Eagle Eastern Enigma went from around €110 to just over 60. But while prices were falling, players kept pulling these collections like crazy. Based on the current supply, almost 7.4 million Spy Tech and Arabesque skins have already entered the market, and that number creates a big problem for everyone thinking about buying now. Opening this collection still makes almost no sense. Spy Tech is currently sitting at around 62% ROI, and Arabesque is even worse, at around 53%, so you would think players would stop spending stars on them, but they clearly haven't. Spy Tech has around 2.3 million skins in the current database, and Arabesque is already above 5 million. That means the Arabesque has more than twice as many pulls as Spy Tech, even with the worse ROI, so players clearly aren't choosing these collections based only on ROI. And this is where the numbers get kind of ridiculous. Every collection pull costs 4 stars, and for those who don't know, one Armory Pass costs €14 and it gives you 40 stars, so each pull costs roughly €1.40. Spy Tech alone represents over 9.2 million stars spent, and the Arabesque is above 20 million. Together, players have already spent almost 29.4 million stars on these two collections. At the Armory Pass price, that works out to roughly €10.3 million in estimated pass revenue tied to these pulls, around 3.2 million from the Spy Tech and more than 7 million from the Arabesque. And remember, this is based on the supply we can see today. Trade-ups destroy skins, so the real number of pulls can be even higher, and that is a huge amount of new supply in just over 1 month. And this is why I don't think it dropped a lot is enough reason to buy. A skin falling 40 or 50% doesn't mean it is 40 or 50% undervalued. Sometimes the starting price was simply too high. Look at the Eastern Enigma for example. It was around €115 in mid-July, and now it is around €60. That is a drop of around 45%, and the spiral glitch is down around 35% over the same period. And the fatal glitch has actually held better, going from around €120 to €98. 3 skins from the same new rotation, but 3 different price movements. So buying every Spy Tech and Arabesque skin just because the collection is down makes no sense. Before I start buying this seriously, there are 3 things I want to see. First, price stability. I want these graphs to stop making new lows for more than just 1 or 2 days. Second, real demand. The skins need to keep selling without getting cheaper every single week. And third, supply. Spy Tech and Arabesque are still in the Armory. If millions of new pulls keep entering the market, buyers have to be strong enough to absorb them. And that's what would make me much more confident that we are actually near the bottom. And we already have a perfect example of why supply alone is not enough. When Spy Tech and Arabesque were added on July 8th, Valve removed Train 2025 and Sport and Field from the Armory, so new direct pulls from those collections completely stopped. That sounds extremely bullish, but look at what actually happened. The M41S Fade in Factory New was around €270 when the collection was removed, and now it is around €180. And the AVP Long Dock is even worse. It was around €830 on July 8th, and now it is around €441. So even after Valve completely stopped new Armory pulls, the 2 skins kept falling, and that proves something really important. Removing supply helps, but it cannot create demand. If people are not buying, a limited collection can still go down. So, are Spy Tech and Arabesque finally worth buying? I think they are finally worth watching very closely, but I still wouldn't blindly invest in them. Prices are obviously much better than they were 1 month ago, and some individual skins are starting to look interesting, but we have over 7 million pulls worth of visible supply already, and both collections are still active. I want to see buyers start winning against that supply before I go heavily into them. And yes, that might mean I missed the exact bottom, but I I would rather buy 10% higher after the market becomes stronger than buy 10% cheaper and watch the skin fall another 20. And that's the difference between a skin being cheap and a skin actually being a good investment. But I want to know what you think. If you had to choose one right now, would you invest in Spytek, Arabesque, or would you wait? Let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious to see where most people stand on these collections. And if you enjoyed this kind of CS2 investing content, I'm going to leave 2 more videos on the screen right now. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.